So, as you know, it was my birthday.
Oh.
Just bring it up
still,
all the
yeah,
time.
we're still there, right around the time of mine.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you know how, like, I don't know, as you get older, you don't really, like, get a lot of presents.
Okay.
Or maybe you do, but...
I did get one last night, which was really nice.
From?
From Marcos.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was a really nice present. He got the, well, I don't want to completely derail your story, but he did, he got me the Luna Basquiat Ferris wheel. Like that so there's a Ferris, have you heard of Luna?
No, so I was like, what is this language?
Oh, so Luna, oh my God, you were telling a story, but Luna is like the artist's like fair exhibit, like the amusement park, like, and Basquiat did a thing, Keith Haring.
This is downtown LA?
Yeah, it's downtown. Okay. It's in the Arts District. It's about $1 million to go for like,
I've heard it's not worth it.
No, I actually really liked it, and I love Basquiat.
Okay, wait. Actually, you finish your thing.
Like, they had like a mini version of it, and that my shoulder just snapped. In the
always
in the gift shop.
Yeah.
And I must have said, unthinking, like I say most of my things without thinking, that I wanted that.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about as you tell the story.
How you were going to tell a story, and then
that obviously no,
sure.
But then being like, fuck, I don't have I'm obviously making it about myself and being like,
you didn't get me a present.
Yeah, I'm like, no, not that, but only like I'm like, I don't have a moment where it's like Greg mentioned he likes this thing, and so I have to get him. I'm like, oh no, and then I'm actually kind of mad at you because it's on you to casually drop something that you want, like a Luna Basquiat mini Ferris wheel.
Sure.
Which could not be more specific, but I'm so happy for Marco.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he sort of listened to me, because I am constantly dropping hints about things that I want and things that I need.
I'm imagining that conversation to be like, oh, you know what I really want? I just want a Luna Basquiat mini Ferris wheel.
Anyway, you were talking about presents for your own birthday.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to say, it's like, I don't get all these presents that you get, apparently.
Sure, yeah.
And so
usually,
this year
I'm really rolling.
Usually, like, my parents will send, like, a box, and then one of my best friends from Chicago will send me something, too.
Yeah.
And so then and they send them a little bit early, to make sure that I get it before my birthday. And then I just usually put them in my room to be like, oh, I'll have something to open on my actual birthday. On my birthday, I went to open my parents' very sweet things like that my parents got me, and then I opened the second one.
Literally sweet.
Very literally sweet. Yeah. And the second box was just, you would think that I would actually look at the outside of the box. I didn't for a second. I just was like, oh, this is obviously the second gift for me from my friend. And then I opened it, and it was just Listerine. I was literally like, Listerine, huh? And then I realized, like, I ordered Listerine for myself. Oh, sure. And actually had been thinking, like, why is it taking so long for this Listerine? Oh, no. Greg? I thought this was a duet. Oh, so you're just going to sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds. Can you hear me?
BONK. Welcome to Miss Thing.
I'm
Greg.
And I'm Tim. And this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the Miss Things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we do best, which is sort of make it all about us.
And thank God for that.
Yeah, thank God for that. It's important work.
Really, yeah. It's the Lord's work.
What's new, Tim?
What is new? Well, we don't need to get into it too much because I just feel like I'm always suffering from some malady.
Oh boy, here we go.
As you know, I play beach volleyball. And
something I famously did, 2 years ago.
Yes, you have, and then stopped. And then once you stopped, I was like, I'm going to join.
Yeah, I was bad quite literally until the very last game.
Oh.
As bad as could be.
Really, I kind of feel like if you were to look at the two of us, they would be like, Greg is good at beach volleyball and Tim is not.
Oh, of course. That goes without saying.
Yeah, exactly. Because I famously, this is the one sport that I have some skills at. Not like that I'm amazing, but just like it is the one thing that I enjoy playing because I'm like, oh, I'm not terrible, But
interesting. No, I heard you're very good.
Okay, who is this king telling you this?
I think you just told me that. Just now. No, I'm remembering. I think that information actually came from the horse's mouth.
I whisper it to across everyone, like across the room, and just hope that it gets back to you.
You
like,
whisper it sort of into a megaphone.
Yeah, into this microphone. Right? But anyways, I'm usually so good about putting on suntan lotion, and I applied. Well, we had to get there at 9 a.m, and it was like. We were there all day, and it was one of those things where I applied 4 times, Greg. I'm not exaggerating, 4 times.
So you were applying. You were on top of it.
Oh, I was applying, and I must have like sweat through one layer and then waited a little too long, and so my chest is so badly sunburned.
I would love to do a Miss Thing reveal, but I would never.
You've
already been through enough with all like the poison ivy. You know, I've certainly been through enough.
And honestly, the listeners who, even if they wouldn't be able to see it if they don't watch it on the video.
Which, obviously, you need to watch us and listen to us on every single platform every week.
Definitely watch us on YouTube because you need to look at least the like faces I give to Greg.
Sure.
The disappointment.
The
anger.
And hopefully we get the picture frames in the background. Maybe you can feel the essence
Yes, actually, listeners, this is something I should bring up, which is that every week I want to have just a little bit of the picture frames behind us in the back, so it's not just a blank white wall.
Yeah, so I'm not sitting in front of a completely blank wall.
Because there actually are picture frames that, by the way, were expensive because picture frames are 7 times the amount of the picture.
Nothing more expensive on the planet.
And then every week we cut them out. And
Sure.
it's the biggest tragedy of my life.
Yeah, and it just sort of looks like I'm in a bit of a prison cell, but I can guarantee you there is decor.
Life imitates art in that way. This is your prison sentence.
And baby, I got multiple life sentences.
Yep, and they literally were like, your worst punishment, doing a podcast with Tim.
So I spent the last weekend in the famous American city called Boston.
Yes. How has it gone? Please go right into it.
Which you are very familiar.
Yep.
I promised I wasn't going to say anything, but someone did just absolutely sledgehammer a door right behind my back.
And I famously said to Greg pre-pod that I said that
don't bring it up.
I said you don't need to bring it up if there's a slam of the door because the microphones won't pick it up. And then we had a moment where we locked eyes, and I was like, "You can bring it up."
That one was especially bad. By the way, this is the most like American thing, like so pre-4th of July.
You're drinking a Waterloo.
Oh, a Waterloo Summer Berry. Tell me I'm your national anthem, Lana Del Rey over here. I'm feeling very emotional,
What
very
berry?
patriotic.
What berry?
Unclear. It's a Summer Berry. It says it looks like a raspberry, 2 different color raspberries, and a blueberry. Which, oh my god, I was just talking about Boston. So
Do you think actually one of those is a blackberry? Sorry.
I thought maybe it was the famous real thing called blue raspberry.
Okay, get back to Boston.
Back to Boston. Yeah. Speaking of blue raspberry, on our very last day, we sort of ate at a New Orleans style bistro type in Watertown, Massachusetts.
Yes.
The biscuits were actually really good.
Okay.
They had biscuits and gravy, and they did like a soft serve sorbet, like a soft serve. Not the, is it sorbet
gelato?
When it's like
yes.
not gelato.
Sorbet.
It's like the non-dairy one.
Yes.
But they did like a mimosa with the like sorbet. Okay. So I was like, well, what's the flavor of the day? And he said blue raspberry. And I was like,
I would love that. I'm a rock hard right now. But
right. So then they bring out the glass with like a blue raspberry swirl sort of, coming out like a beautiful, unnaturally blue beacon from within
your
the glass.
Mouth and tongue, everything about you will be blue. Okay, as soon as you put.
And then we had to sort of pour a little bottle of like very cheap prosecco or whatever into it and sort of mix it. It's sort of like a root beer float type thing, or a mimosa float, let's call it. And it was inedible. It was actually something that I almost sent back.
I was into it until that last part, pouring, Yeah,
it was an interactive beverage. But that, to me, is Boston in a nutshell,
Did you go to any of the recommendations that I suggested?
Oh, yeah. So I want to just be clear that Tim Tim's first recommendation, just my knuckle just snapped, but it's, that was my own doing. Tim's first and maybe only real you recommended a bakery, but the first recommendation was a little place called Bo Loco, and then he sort of immediately followed that up with Boston's version of Chipotle.
Yes, but elevated.
Oh, elevated,
yes. Setting
you
expectations.
You didn't say elevated.
Oh, I did.
So you kind of recommended that I just go to a local Chipotle.
It is, to anyone who's been to Boston, it's kind of like a Portillo's if you're in Chicago. Or like, like a thing that is really good burritos. You only can get it in Boston. And did you heed my advice?
I did. I had it on my list of things to go to. We basically only had like a few hours on Saturday to go. And we ultimately went to Neptune's Oyster and waited for an hour. And then was a little too full to go to Bo Local.
There wasn't like a quick lunch spot, a little Uber drop on the way to the airport. You need a snack on your way.
Oh, sure.
On your 6-hour flight back.
No, we were sort of dodging conservative speak from our Uber driver
on
the way back, which I wish him nothing but the best.
Yes.
I wish him nothing but the best. But
okay, should we, on that note?
On that note, yes, absolutely. Let's get into our doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second, which is our segment each week where we just talk about the thing that we're currently obsessed with at the moment.
Yes.
Tim, do you have a Dod Mom sauce, as we also like to call it?
Yes, I do have a Dod Mom sauce. Did you see that Vanessa Williams dropped Legs, I'ma Keep Dancing this week? The 61-year-old goddess, future Miss Thing. She dropped a new single called Legs, I'm Gonna Keep Dancing. Actually, I don't think it's I'm Gonna. I think it's I'ma Keep Dancing.
Legs, I'ma Keep Dancing.
Yes. And it is, first and foremost, first off, the budget for the video it's like $100,000 maybe. Which is not a lot.
Oh, no, not these days.
These days,
doesn't get. That's like our weekly episodic budget of this thing.
Exactly. And then the whole premise too is that the legs are the last to go, so you should keep dancing.
Oh, the legs are the
last to go.
Kind of a bit morbid.
Yeah, and I was like kind of thinking about it. One, I was like, get it, Vanessa Williams, coming out of the woodwork, hasn't released a single, I'm imagining, in decades.
Easily since the 60s.
And then it literally threw me for a loop because I was like, are legs the last to go? Huh. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, I would famously say that teeth are the last to go. If you ever had them.
I don't know. I've seen a few people who it seems teeth are the first thing to go.
I think if you're a corpse,
Sure, yeah.
The teeth are kind of like what I did. Teeps.
I
call them teeps.
You do kind of have teeps.
Yeah, I have teeps.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're in the morgue, I think, or if something terrible happens to your body.
Oh, right. That is the thing that they sort of identify.
Oh, God. But what would you say what do you think is the last thing for you to go?
The last thing for me to go, like me personally?
Yes, you personally. That will be the last to go.
I know. I'm trying to think what's really sturdy on my body. That's going to sort of be the last thing to go.
I can certainly think
my allergies. I'm going to have them long after I'm dead in the ground. I am still going to be sniffling.
Wait, I have to tell this story, which is on the way here, I was going to let you in to the apartment.
Yes.
And I get a text from Greg that says, here, as I'm coming, I go down, and then frantically, 0.5 seconds later, it's like, hurry, rush, I beg. What were the words?
I said, there's people across the street blowing grass and leaves directly on me. Which
into
was
your face, actually.
into my face, which was happening.
And then I opened the door, and again, only another nanosecond passed between your text and me opening the door.
Yeah,
you
you
are
got that
nowhere
fast.
to be found, and I'm like, is he lying? Where is he? Then I see you peek out from behind, like hiding for your dear life, like making a makeshift trench.
I had to get out of the line of fire. They saw me coming and they started a blow-in. Like right at me.
Well, you do right now kind of look like a leaf, not too.
This is because
Yeah.
I'm stained. I'm stained for most of it.
You're like,
I am serving
your
leaves.
green and brown is kind of like they got confused.
Yeah. I'm serving autumn and spring.
Yes.
But it's mostly because I have a natural dye on me. No, they immediately sort of turn. I didn't see it coming, of course, and I couldn't because there was so much debris in my face.
And usually you always come in here and talk about your allergies, and then I offer you a allergy med, and you turn it down. And today you actually were like frantically like, where is that?
No, I needed it. On the way over, I was also, of course, I had the panic thought. I said I didn't have an allergy pill today because as soon as we get on mic, as soon as we hit record, usually my allergies start completely falling apart. And then I sort of disappear.
I mean, I gotta say, you look very clear-eyed.
Oh, good.
No, there's no runny nose, nothing that you don't seem at all like an allergy moment is happening.
Oh, well, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm fending one off for sure.
Yes. Do you, Greg?
Do I have a Dod Mom sauce?
Yes, do you have
That
a
is
Dod Mom
such an
sauce?
incredible
Yeah.
question. You know what? I do. So one of my friends, I'm on a few group chats. You know, they're mostly
Brag.
they're all silenced. They're all silenced. But occasionally, you know, I see that I have like 200 texts, and I'm like, I gotta just scan.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta scan to check in. So to see and sand. So
We've lost it.
we've lost the plot. But someone sent to one of these group texts, and the thread is called Panera Bread because one of the people on the text thread, their apartment is famously decorated not unlike a Panera Bread, and we've made sort of a meal out of that, if you will.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Panera Bread, famously my first job. You know, I used to work the register. I was a sales associate at Panera Bread in Westfield, New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did know this fact about you, and I'm so happy it's re-entering my brain.
Yeah. This was back when Panera, and not to say it isn't still one of the fanciest eateries on all the planet, but like at that time, it was really considered, you know, like really fresh.
Creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme. But that's besides the point. They are now selling fashions.
No, they're not.
They are.
Is
and
that
what
where your
was
outfit
sent?
came from?
It's actually not unlike my uniform that I used to wear.
I
at
actually
Panera.
can't picture, but I am like, if you put a visor on, I do believe. And I just want to say, I do actually love your outfit. It's just, what are the colors of Panera Bread?
That was a definite read because it's really accurate. It's serving Panera like, you know, if this was
you're
a drag
dressing for
race
theme.
challenge,
Yeah,
if this was a
yeah.
drag race challenge, like I think I'd be really on theme.
Oh, 100%.
And I'd lose.
Well, of course you would. Yeah.
'Cause I didn't dress for drag race today. I dressed to look like an employee at Panera Bread.
/ a leaf.
Sure.
Blown away,
But and a leaf. They have started, you know, a high design, and there's a thing called a Panera Bread head hat. And it's sort of like a fascinator in the shape of a little like bread that like for, you know, men and women alike who care about fashion and pastry.
Okay.
It's already sold out.
Okay, because I was gonna say, I was really disappointed because there was a second there where I thought
Could have gotten it for my birthday.
yes, I
Could
thought,
have gotten it for my
is this
birthday.
something that you might want?
Of course, I'm desperate for it.
Okay, great.
I'm desperate for it.
Okay.
They also have a thing called a baguette bag that's 12 inches, and you can put your Panera Bread sandwiches in it, but that's also sold out. It's like a leather bag.
I mean, no joke, I would love to own one of those items.
No, I want, like, I'm going to be scouring that website for any new drops, and they immediately sell out, by the way. But I'm fascinated by what they're doing over there, because that brand is reinventing itself every single day. And I think it's back to being the high-class establishment it once was.
I mean, if there was ever something that never goes out of style, it is a broccoli cheddar bread bowl.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
From Panera Bread. Any day of the week, I would order that and be happy as a little... I was going to say clam.
Happy as a little clam.
A happy little clam.
Yeah.
What phrase am I thinking of?
I'm not sure. A little lamb, I think.
Okay.
But clam was where I was going
clam
with it.
Chowder.
Sure. Very Boston.
Let's
bringing it back.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well... So just so you know what's going on in the world of Panera.
I'm actually, I want you to get for my birthday next year that. And I won't get you anything.
Right. Well, I make notes of things like that.
Yes.
So,
me too.
Yeah, just we'll keep that in mind. It is sold out, though. And if there's only one per customer, which I know the bag is only one per customer, I'm going to prioritize myself and my own needs.
Yes. And that's actually why I didn't get it for you, because I knew you would buy it for yourself. And I'm thoughtful in that way.
Sure.
Should we take a break and get into our Miss Thing of the Week?
Please.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Bye. That's staying in.
And we're back.
Okay. Our
Miss Thing of the Week is none other than Shen Yun. Shen Yun, actually, as you know, Tim just correctly pointed out. Famous Billboard and advertising campaign. Shen Yun.
I literally needed you to actually start that, because you might know more than me, but
not sure how much I do know.
The only thing I know about this queen, this diva, and I'm praying to God that actually we won't be canceled, because I'm like, I don't know actually what it's about.
I don't think anyone does.
Okay, and so I'm like, hopefully we're not promoting something sinister.
I wouldn't say we don't need to promote something, as this is the most promoted thing on the planet,
which very much is tied into us.
Of course,
as the least promoted thing on the planet.
How do we get Shen Yun's publicist?
Yes, actually, that is Shen Yun's publicist is our Miss Thing.
You know, Rita Ora is desperate to get on their to get them on her payroll or somehow. I don't know how it works.
We would give both of our firstborns to Shen Yun's publicist.
Miss Thing would be the most listened to pod on the planet, or at least the most well known pod.
We would be turning listeners away. However you do that, we would.
Right, which I can only imagine Shen Yun is turning audiences away in a way.
It's so popular,
yeah.
So for me, the extent of what I know about Miss Shen Yun is, am I pronouncing it right? I don't know.
Perhaps. Okay. I think so.
Well, we apologize in advance for any mispronunciation, but the only thing I know about this is that it is a billboard where, in my memory, is just a woman dancing mid-air.
Sort of floating. Yeah, floating. What? Or where are you going with this?
I was going to say floating, and then you said flowing. But I do think she's flowing.
Doing both.
Yes. It feels like what I imagine you go, and it's like a courting dance ritual. I just think you sit down, and it's just a lot of people dancing, and there feels like somehow they're courting. It's like the woman performs and courts the male, and then the male courts the woman.
Lots of courting. Lots of floating.
Flowing and floating. Yes. Boys are floating. Girls are flowing. Miss Flow.
Would you say it's an interactive experience based on your understanding?
I think it can be.
It can be, yeah, definitely.
I think it's whatever you want it to be.
Should be, yeah. Shen Yun is whatever you can imagine it to be.
There's no limits to what Shen Yun could be.
I did also, in my brief Googling, I also did learn that you're supposed to wear tuxedos or ball gowns to the event.
This goes to my theory of courting. I feels like if you're going to court someone, dress up.
Sure. So you sort of don't know which end is up, which way is the stage. I also feel like it's constantly Shen Yun season all year round, obviously all over the globe.
Yes.
It always happens to be playing wherever you are right around that time. But like,
There has to be like 100 venues in each city.
Yes, but never in like a city that you really know like where it is or if it exists. Like in California, it like plays in Costa Mesa, which I've heard.
But they won't drop the location, so you can't find it.
Right. Or the
somewhere
day.
in Costa Mesa, but where is that building? No one knows.
No one knows. Is it a performance arts center? What is it? Like, where do you get tickets?
Yes.
One time they sent me a booklet that was, I want to say, 57 pages long. It must have been a really, really flush year
And that's
for Shen
the
Yun.
longest book you would have ever read.
Oh, it was one of the thickest tomes on my shelf.
Yeah.
Because obviously I put it front and center
Yeah.
on my shelf.
Would you like to go or would you like me to go?
Well, you know what? I will go. I have a story
Go
that
for
needs
it.
to get off the chest. You know, just in the vein of, you know, very sort of emotional, spiritual performances that may or may not actually be, you know, real plays. They might not actually get made. I'm sort of reminded of a time when in kindergarten, I really, really was aching to perform. As you know, my showmanship started
You are the greatest showman.
Yes. My favorite movie, my favorite soundtrack.
Yes.
So, you know, when they say that if there's no good roles, you've got to make your own. So I decided, since it was nearing the holiday season, I decided to mount a production of The Nutcracker, which is something that I had not seen. And I still have never seen. But I felt like I could do a pretty good interpretation of that. And I, of course, wanted to play the titular character, the Nutcracker.
Course, yes.
Looking back, I think I did more of a little drummer boy type thing. I think I was more moving my hands than flapping my jaw. But I knew people that had seen it. So and wanted to be a part of the production and performance. So I sort of, you know, gathered my group of gals and gave them the roles, most of them the roles that they wanted. And then there was one girl who I wasn't sure she really belonged in the cast.
Wait, and you're in kindergarten. This is
kindergarten.
A self-starter at such a young age. How did you... This is like, where are you? Is this after school? Is this...
No, I took up every moment of recess and lunch.
Okay.
And there was one person, I guess, I didn't really know her very well, and she ended up going to a different school after kindergarten, and I underestimated her. We gave her this role called the Rat.
I'm starting to understand why she went to a different school.
And I'm not sure. I think she volunteered for the role. I think she wanted the role. I'm not sure there's a rat in the Nutcracker. It's an upsetting role to sort of take.
But actually, I mean, Miss Thing, for sure, for you to voluntarily. Thank you, I got there.
Volunteer.
Become to be the rat in a production. I mean,
she was in it to win it.
Yeah.
She was in it to win it.
Were you threatened?
Well, you know, I was so focused on my own performance and making sure that I was the center of attention that, well, I was, yeah
of course.
But I was the center of attention that I needed to make sure that, like, I was embodying my character. Again, I could not find any motivation for, like, what the Nutcracker was doing or why. And we never really got, of course, everyone had to come to every rehearsal. You weren't allowed to be late, but you had to be there just in case you needed to rehearse. And the girl who played the rat never got a chance to rehearse until one day, sort of as we were nearing the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, we got to a place of needing to, we needed to like buckle down, and we were like, okay, the rat, you're up. And when I tell you, a star was born that day.
I knew it.
This girl embodied the rat in a way that had me shaken to my core. She jumped in. She goes, I am the rat. And she was just sort of doing that for maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. And I remember thinking like, wow, this is an amazing performance. We're going to need to really feature the rat. I don't know how or why, but we need to feature her. I will say, ultimately, we didn't ever mount the production. We couldn't pull it together.
The rat got too big.
The rat...
Too busy.
Yeah, the rat was very there.
Okay.
It was constantly there. It's just, we couldn't pull it together. It didn't get as much, publicity as we were hoping. So that's...
You needed Shen Yun.
It's like Shen Yun. They might not have a show, but at least they're out here in these streets.
They are
really promoting. Another club.
And that's where you went wrong as a sixth grader. You should have been
a kindergartner.
Oh, a kindergartner.
A kindergartner.
Yes. How dare I?
How about you?
Okay. Well, as I said, the only thing I feel like I can put together for what Shen Yun is about is a courting dance. And this makes me think of how I make this all about myself is when I was in 7th or 8th grade.
Okay. We're really going back.
I was like 98% sure that I was gay. But I was really clinging to those 2% that I could maybe be straight. And I was so in love, or just like wanted to be Sarah Michelle Gellar or Britney Spears, that I was like, I'm not gay because like I have all their posters on my walls, and like I wouldn't do that if I was gay.
These are my crushes.
Yes, exactly.
These are my crushes. And Sarah Michelle Gellar and Britney Spears were also my crushes. If you
have any taste, those are your crushes.
Sure, I don't have taste,
but
they were my crushes.
Yeah. And so at that time, I was like, okay, I need to get like a girlfriend to like test the waters and see. Mm-hmm. And so there was this girl, Olivia, and we would like, in our friend group, we would like
Coleman.
It was Olivia Coleman. And so Olivia and I, like, there was a bunch of us that would go to the local pool, and we would always hit it off. And I was like, I think like Olivia and I have a thing, and I'm not gay. And Olivia was, not to brag, so pretty, so gorgeous. I like wanted to like basically be her,
Sure, of course.
And I was like, okay. And so then
you wanted what she had.
Exactly, that beauty.
Yeah.
one day, and
all the admiration.
Yeah, exactly. I like she really was like, I was like just stunning. And so then we'd always talk, and I guess at one point I said to her that this was the summer that Christina Milian's biggest hit, "Dip It Low," came out. And I was obsessed with that song.
Of course, as any straight
little boy would be.
Yeah.
And I'm clinging to the fact that it's like a very sexual song, so she's so hot.
Right. Oh, of course. And so it gets you hot.
She gets me so hot.
Yeah.
And so I tell Olivia how hot Christina Milian is and how much I love that song. The next week, she asks me to come over to her house. And I go to sit on her living room. She goes, and she's a cheerleader, which is also like hot, So I am, and I'm like, that is hot that you're a cheerleader. So like, I'm straight.
You are also social climbing left and right.
100%.
Yeah, you need to get to the top of this school
need to date a
food
cheerleader.
chain.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then I sit down, and our friends hadn't gotten there yet, so it was just like a private show for me. Which is then she goes, I learned the Dip It Low choreography. Can I show you it? Now, when I tell you that I have never been more excited in my life, I'm not lying. I was like, absolutely. So then she proceeded to...
Funny you should mention, because I learned it too.
Yeah, exactly. I push her down. Like, watch a real queen do it. And so then she knocked it out of... Literally learned the entire dance. After she performed that dance, I was like, I am straight. I am 100% straight. I've never been more into a girl.
Yeah, you had a moment of maybe.
Yeah, I was, and so then I immediately asked her to be my girlfriend.
Okay.
So she was my one and only girlfriend. Spoiler alert. And we...
feels like a natural sort of place to put that.
Yes.
Okay,
and so, well, you never know. I could have had multiple girlfriends. Yeah. And so then...
Stomach growling completely like a lion's roar from within.
Great song by First Aid Kit.
Yes.
So then we're dating, and then I realized, like, as we're dating for that first couple weeks, I'm like, oh no, now we have to like kiss. But then I'm actually kind of like, I'm actually wanting to, because I'm like, I'm so into her now.
I saw the way her body moved.
Yes, and I was like, and I'm straight, and so then I invited her to go see Van Helsing.
Oh, I remember
seminal film, the original Twilight, and as everyone knows, the most romantic movie of all time.
Sure, and kind of the original Miss Thing in a way, Van Helsing.
Exactly.
Hugh Jackman herself.
Wow. Yes, I didn't even put that together.
Sure.
And so that movie.
Not
she's
sure
sitting
I'm
next to me.
even able to put that together. Just sort of saying things.
No, I think that Hugh Jackman is the original.
I would say.
We're sitting down, and I'm like determined that in this movie I'm going to kiss her. And so the whole movie is like a lead up, like I'm trying to put my arm around her. I'm like moving my hand closer and closer to the armrest and then doing the yawn thing, trying to get my arm around. Finally happens. She's moving closer to me. I'm not paying attention to the movie whatsoever, sweating profusely. And I'm not a natural sweater. So like that's how nervous I am.
No, you're dry as a bone.
Dry as a bone. And so I finally, it's like, there's like 10 minutes left of the movie, and it's a long movie. So I couldn't
make it through. It was very
I honestly
long.
think it's like close to 3 hours. I don't know, but it's a very long movie.
Feels that long, certainly.
So I clearly was very suave. It took me 2.5 hours to work up the courage to get closer. We finally kissed like at the most violent part of the movie.
Sure,
the minute our lips touch, I'm not kidding you, like barely kiss. And I'm nope, I'm straight, or I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I don't say that, but I basically like violently pull back.
You knew.
I knew in that moment, and
we all have. That
and I just want to
give
it up for Olivia because she had to deal with that. Because then obviously she was like, "What's?" I was like, "Oh, nothing. I'm just like we're going too quick or something." And obviously she probably took that personally and. Maybe the next Monday, that happened like on a Saturday night, I broke up with her.
You broke up with her. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Actually, maybe it was a mutual thing.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, I can't remember because it wasn't like she wasn't mad at me, but I just want to give her all of the credit because she, and I don't know where she is now, but I'm imagining she's a cheerleader for like the Dallas Cowboys.
We salute Olivia and Olivia's all the world over who like date the gay boy. Take one for the team, like date the ones that they know are, a little different than the other boys. But, they're looking for a decent man too.
Yeah. Okay, should we
take a break? We're back.
We are back.
Believe it or not, like it or not.
I know you missed us.
Yeah, we're back with our famous segment, Diva Down, which is when we, give some unsolicited, gay guy advice to something in the culture that right now needs our help.
Yes.
And that this week is
cinema herself.
Cinema herself. The state of the film and television industry. Not in the sense that, like, it is a cesspool ever since the strike. Yes.
But just, like, where are the good movies?
Where are they? What are the movies? What is coming out?
Literally, like, there are, like, 2 movies that I'm excited about for the remainder of 2024.
I would love to know what those are because I cannot tell you a single thing. As we are about to enter summer movie season, and I quite literally do not know what's coming out.
Yes, and by the time this airs, this could be the end of summer.
Oh, it'll be next
season.
year.
Yeah.
It'll be this summer movie season 2025.
And hopefully at that point, there will be some movies that we're excited about.
Yeah, some decent
But it's
films.
like, to the studio heads and to the people in charge, it's like, what movies are you selecting? Because if these are the movies,
yeah,
honey.
We're going to need to start adapting Miss Thing into a feature film because that's what
absolutely.
the world is clamoring for.
It's just like crazy to me that I'm like, I can't remember. There's like maybe 2 trailers that I've gotten excited about or heard of movies that are coming out that I'm like, okay, maybe that.
At this point of the year, I normally, like, my insane as a child and even till like maybe 2 years ago, I had the entire like summer movie season mapped.
Yeah.
I knew what was coming out every week. It's like, oh, well, obviously Kong versus Godzilla is going to take, that's even though that was a recent film, is going to knock like Jerry Maguire.
Yes. And those came out the same year. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of number 1 this weekend.
I know.
And they were so stacked. But this year, what is there? You said you have 2 movies that you're excited about. Please tell me so I can look forward to something in my life.
I mean, okay, so the only ones that I can think of is obviously Joker de Folie.
Right. Joker de Folie.
Which is the fall.
Sure.
And then summer-wise, it's like, and I know this movie will have already come out, but I'm like, cannot wait for that Anne Hathaway rom-com.
Right. I think that comes out. It like, might be out.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely, at the time this comes out, it's definitely out, and I loved it already, I'll tell you.
Sure.
And maybe I did see there's something about like Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron doing some sort of like.
I feel like that just got announced, but it's like also going to be on fully like Amazon.
Exactly.
But also so is the Anne Hathaway one.
I want like a Emma Stone, Jennifer Lawrence reboot of like Death Becomes Her.
Well, I mean, obviously, you heard it here first. We need to be writing that. We are campaigning to write that. Hollywood, this is my advice. Listen up.
Let us write that.
We are going to write the Death Becomes Her reboot with Emma Stone, you said, and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
You can take that to the bank. And you can release that every single weekend over and over and over in summer 2025. Ideally, I would love to get it out by this summer.
Yes. I mean, they need that, actually.
They do need it. But yeah, so that's my advice. Buy our reboot of Death Becomes Her, starring one more time Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence. Yes.
Is it that hard?
No, that seems pretty simple to me. Pretty simple to me.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to add?
I don't think so.
We've said enough.
We've said it all. We have said it all.
Okay.
And we've done it again.
Oh, wait. I forgot one more thing. Okay. And we can cut this if it's bad. But the other one that I was thinking about is I really want, and this is a wild one, but I actually think it's going to work. I want Sarah Jessica Parker to play Joan Rivers. Think on it. Sarah Jessica Parker does a New York accent, and then she plays Joan Rivers as a stand-up comedian, does the accent. I feel like, I'm telling you, I know you don't see it.
Are we aging her up or down?
Well, depending. It's her whole life. So it's like at times she's really young, at times she's really old.
Okay, and who's playing Melissa in all this?
Miranda, who's the redhead?
Cynthia Nixon is playing Melissa.
That one we can workshop.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you, Sarah Jessica Parker as Joan Rivers. I know you don't see it, but she will be nominated for a Golden Globe.
Definitely Golden Globe for musical comedy.
Yes, exactly.
Musical or comedy.
And I'm going to write that one. I know you're not as into it, but I will write that.
I think, this is where we'll work on our passion projects. Yes. You can have that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd watch it. I'm just confused.
Really sound like, yes.
Right. Okay. I would like to see Rosie O'Donnell in that film. I'm not sure as who.
Okay.
But I'd like to see Rosie O'Donnell in it.
Okay, I'm done.
That's sort of my pitch.
Okay, and with that...
Last but not least, go see Shen Yun and report back.
Please tell us what it's about.
Yeah. And send us pictures of you in your tuxes and ball gowns. All right, we love you.
We love you. Bye.
Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons. with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at MissThingThePod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media. BONK!